Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Fake Love and Flying Monkeys podcast. I'm your host. My name's Nova Gibson, and I'm a therapist who works specifically with victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse. I'm also an author and podcast producer now, and I am passionate about supporting victims of this insidious, often very covert type of abuse to understand their trauma, to validate their trauma, and to help them escape and, of course, to heal. I decided to specialize in working with victims and survivors of narcissistic abuse after my own experience with a covert narcissist. Now, at the time, nothing could have prepared me for the crazy making and the trauma that you experienced. And I did all the right things. I sought help with experienced therapists, psychologists, and don't get me wrong, they were lovely and they helped me to deal with the anxiety at the time. But I just didn't feel they understood what I was going through. And I felt like I was enlightening them about the type of abuse I was experiencing. I didn't like the fact that I was being told some of the time that, I was codependent and that we just needed to work on these issues and that would help me to heal and to move forward. I felt like I was being patronized and that didn't sit well with me. So I want to do this podcast to help other people to understand that this type of abuse is never your fault. No matter how you react to the abuse, there is always a power imbalance. You're supposed to act crazy. That is the job of the narcissist. And they want you to act crazy so that you question your actions. You can reflect on your actions. They can't. And they want you in a constant state of confusion, which makes you easier to manipulate and to abuse. In not getting the support I felt I needed at the time, I did what most victims of narcissistic abuse do, who don't often even know that what they're experiencing is abuse. I didn't. I started reaching out online. I joined support groups. I watched video after video. I started reading about this, and it all made sense. This person ticked all of those boxes that you see on the internet, and I realized what I was experiencing was narcissistic abuse. I'd been abused and I didn't even know it. I thought it was all my fault. After the time it took me to heal my own trauma, I made it my mission to help others and to make sure that there was information out there so that people who are in the same situation that I was feel heard and understood, and they realize that it was never their fault and they are not crazy. And of course, there is a light at the end of the tunnel and you will be happy again. In this podcast, we are going to be breaking down all the strategies that the narcissist used to hook you in and to keep you hooked. They need to paint a picture of being this amazing person, because if they abused you, if they confused you 100% of the time, you would never stay. We're going to be talking about concepts such as the love bombing stage, where they promise you the world and they make you feel so amazing. All of those amazing chemicals are pulsating in your body, like oxytocin, the dopamine receptors are all being hit at once. We'll be talking about what happens next, which is the devaluation stage, which is followed by the discard, whether you remain with them for 20, 30 years or not. and the Hoover maneuver, where they suck you back in by throwing you a few breadcrumbs of the person that you are missing, the person they pretended to be. In these episodes, we are going to be talking about all things narcissist and all things narcissistic abuse, from both covert narcissists and overt narcissists. We're going to be talking about coercive control and how it goes hand in hand with narcissistic abuse. And we're going to be talking about the narcissist henchmen, the flying monkeys, hence the name of my podcast. We're going to be talking about subjects such as, why did I stay? So many victims ask themselves that question when on a logical level they know that this relationship is toxic, but they just can't seem to stay away. We're going to be talking about concepts such as the inevitable smear campaign that every narcissist engages in. We're going to be looking at what it's like to try and co-parent with a narcissist, and what it's like trying to divorce a narcissist, and the post-separation abuse that they engage in, which can often be worse than the abuse you suffer when you're actually living with them. We're also going to take a deep dive into what it's like being the adult child of a narcissist, and how that narcissistic parent ensures that you never leave them and that you keep reacting to their confusing abuse with strategies such as fear, obligation, and guilt. One question that I think just about every client of mine has asked themselves is, am I the narcissist? This is textbook, and we're going to be looking at reactive abuse and how the narcissist makes you think that you're the abuser by flipping the roles and engaging in DAVO, deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. Now, understanding your abuse and having your trauma validated is absolutely essential when you're trying to heal from this abuse. But it's not going to be effective if you don't have strategies to move forward and heal. So we're going to be looking at concrete strategies that you can implement to escape your abuser, and of course to heal and make sure that if another narcissist crosses your path, you will never become the victim of their insidious type of abuse ever again. Now, you might be asking yourself, are there going to be interviews? And the answer to that is yes. I'm going to be having regular guests on the show who will be experts in the area, and of course to other victims and survivors of not just intimate narcissistic relationships, but the children of narcissistic parents, from people who have been abused by a colleague or an employer in the workforce, and even victims who have been abused by their own child who is a narcissist. Now, I'm going to be dropping an episode of Fake Love and Flying Monkeys once a week. I will let you know the exact day and the exact time of day. I encourage you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so that you can immediately be notified when a new episode becomes available. Of course, I am going to be looking forward to reading all of your comments. So if you'd like to know where you can participate and let me know your thoughts on a particular podcast, please follow me on Instagram at Nova's Narcissist Abuse Recovery, on TikTok at Nova Gibson, and on Facebook at Nova Gibson's Counselling Service. Okay, I think that is just about all I had to tell you guys on this very exciting first episode. I will see you on the next episode, and until then, remember, you are worthy of love, and you are worthy of a whole lot more than a lifetime of fake love and flying monkeys.